Order. It's September the 20th. We have a quorum. Mr. Weezer, Mr. Smith, myself, Bernard Parks is the chair. Colleagues, what we'd like to do is go through two regular items, 5 and 6, and then go in closed session in this room and deal with 1 through 4. I'm sorry, with 1.
Yeah.
No, is it 4?
Yeah, 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah, 4, 5, and 6, and then go to 1, 2, and 3 in closed session. So if we can start off with item 4.
Okay, item 4 is the CAO's report relative to the 2010-11 appropriation limit. And Liz Lee
If you
is
could
here
just
tomorrow.
briefly explain, because this comes up once a year, just so we know what we're approving and what the impact is.
Elizabeth Lee of the CAO. Before you is the CAO report on the 2010-11 appropriation limit, or as commonly called GAN limit. The GAN limit is essentially a cap on the amount of of revenue that the city may appropriate. The state constitution requires the city to establish its limit each fiscal year. Based on the population and per capita income factors provided by the State Department of Finance, the city's 2010-11 limit is approximately $4.28 billion. The city GAN limit of the total city revenue of $6.7 billion, those that are defined as revenue derived from taxes minus exclusions, is $3.18 billion. This is the city's appropriation subject to the limit. Thus, the city is $1.1 billion below the limit. Exemptions include federal mandates such as payroll taxes, consent decree items in the past, debt service on general obligation bonds, and capital expenditure. The per capita and population income factors are shown on Attachment 1, and the city's appropriations subject to the limitation and various adjustments are presented on Attachment 2.
Let me just ask, is the 4.2 a direct relationship to our projections on revenue?
Yes, this is the budgeted revenue for 2010-11.
Any questions? Okay, we'll move that item. Thank you very much.
Okay, item 5 is CAO report relative to the selection process to extend/substitute the $2 million letter of credit agreement for the Municipal Improvement Corporation of Los Angeles Commercial Paper Program. What we have provided is really sort of a little an update on where we are in the process. If you may recall, basically our $2 million letter of credit will be expiring at the end of this calendar year, December 2010, with B of A, Bank of America. And so what we have laid out, there's basically two options. Obviously, one is to work with the existing bank as far as renegotiating our letter of credit, or we can actually go out and start pursuing other banks and so forth and try to secure a letter of credit elsewhere. As you can see, we are in the process of doing that, and the next month we will actually be coming to Mayor and Council with a recommendation for you.
Okay, let me just ask, when we go through, when you report back to us, you'll give us some breakdown on the different options that are available and what the rates were with the other banking institutions? Now,
Yeah.
one thing I was going to ask also is, are there other alternatives other than going to banks for letters of credit? Is it an option of going to pension funds or other type of revenue sources?
There is a possibility, and actually in another transmittal that you'll actually see shortly, we talk about some of the letters of credit, and right now we do have one with CalSTRS. And the question is whether or not some of the large pension agencies are actually are offering that, whether I know our systems do not. But there may be other programs out there that we may be able to pursue in the future.
So we'll evaluate CalSTRS along with the other banks?
Basically, we're going to evaluate basically the market, who's the availability, whether it's a bank or whether it's a pension system.
Okay. And this is not for the entire MICLA, this is a portion?
And this is basically to address the $200 million existing that we have with B of A.
And that, again, for the record, that expires December 2010?
10, yes.
Okay. Any questions, colleague?
So I'm sorry, the extension is just for this period to December?
The current letter of credit will expire in December 2010, so now we'll then go back and renegotiate either with B of A or looking at other options for either, a year or perhaps 2 years. We'll look at sort of the rates and,
So you're going to be back to us in December?
oh, yes, in fact, we'll be back in October.
That's it.
Okay, we'll move that option, move that item, item 5.
Okay, so that takes us to item 6, which is Weezer Laban's motion relative to funding special events at El Pueblo. Let's give it that.
Mr. Weezer, you want to lead this?
Sure, thank you. We could call Mr. Andrade up. I understand that the general manager, Mr. Andrade, will work with the commission to effectuate this. We will still need to come up with some technical language that effectuates the actual change, what budget line to what budget line, but we could come up with that before it gets to council. Is that accurate?
That is correct. We just got approval for the commission agenda for this Thursday. Will include the request to execute the agreement for the $50,000 for traditional events, the $2,500 for the administration of the contract.
Okay, great. Thank you.
So you have verified the money is there?
The money is there, sir.
Okay. And then let me ask, Mr. Weezer, you had 2 motions during budget, motion 42 and 56. If we can ask the CAO, Ray, could we ask you on this item, there's 2 budget motions on identical, on this same identical issue, motion 42 and 56, if we can incorporate that and get them all done. The 42 is in both the jobs and budget and finance, and 56 is in arts parks. So I think they're identical motions asking the same thing. So we can
Okay.
incorporate them and eliminate something off of Schedule H.
Yeah. And do you know when this will be in council?
I do not know,
Okay.
actually.
You have a
Sure,
placeholder?
it's scheduled.
There's no placeholder requested.
It's going to commission, Pueblo Commission Thursday, so anytime soon thereafter would be great.
The following week.
Thank you.
All right, so we'll move that item with those instructions.
Okay.
I believe there's some speaker cards on this item.
Should never put your book over the speaker cards. Excuse me, we will not move that item. Oh, come on now, you got to speak. Okay, let me just, for the record, Edward Flores, Mike Mariscal, and Valerie? So if you don't want to speak, we'll put you...
Quit while you're ahead. Quit while you're ahead.
All right.
That's good.
We'll move that item, and thank you very much.
I know.
So we'll now go into the 3 items on closed session.